Today on the lineup, it's Batter Up with our 2008 Baseball Roundup. We spread the cream and the clear on this year's crop of hardball games to find out which one comes up with the bigger guns. We've got courtside burns and smooth left turns in our previews of NBA Ballers Chosen One and NASCAR 09. And we sit down to chat with NCAA 09 cover boy and NFL draft standout Darren McFadden. And we punch Michael Vick in the face. Now get out there, rookie, or I'll slap you so hard your mama will cry. It's the lineup.
Hello everyone and welcome to the debut episode of The Lineup. I'm your host Brian Eckberg and this is our, twice monthly sports show. We're going to be talking about everything sports game related. We're going to have previews of sports games, features, we're going to be talking to developers, and even talking to some of the biggest athletes in the land in our video show. I'm really excited to get this off the ground, and I've got two great co-hosts with me. Shankar Srinivasan from Sports Gamer. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. We've been talking about the show for so long.
I know. Finally, we cut the red tape. We got everything passed through.
We just came in the studio and started rolling.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe I'm getting paid for this.
That's awesome. And of course, Aaron Thomas. This is a banner day for the show because we got you into a tie.
Yes, sir. I'm wearing makeup too. You want to rub that in?
On the top of your head. That's not a typical place for makeup.
I got makeup, a tie. I got notes. It's a real deal. It's a real deal.
Yeah, so there you go. We've got makeup and ties and Shankar. So we're looking good. We're going to be talking with these guys about all the latest sports games. You saw what's coming up on the show, but first of all, we want to start with our look at the 2008 baseball games in our 2008 Baseball Roundup. We've got two baseball games this year. We've got Sony's MLB 08 and 2K Sports MLB 2K8. Guys, there's so much to get to with these games, but we have to start with probably the most important aspect of both these games, the controls. Let's start with pitching.
It's the biggest change in the entire game, really, is all based on the right analog stick. So to throw a fastball, you pull down on the right analog stick and push it forward. And for curveball, you move left and then around in circular motion. And you want to be as accurate as possible because the accuracy of your movement affects the accuracy of your pitch.
So big changes on the MLB 2K8 front, but over with MLB 08, the Sony product, we've got, it's actually a lot similar to previous games in the series, right, Shankar?
That's right, yeah. It uses a very traditional button-based pitching system where you essentially select the pitch that you want and you select a location after that. It'll pull up a Tiger Woods type power meter. You want to try to click once at the top of the meter for power and click another time on a pre-designated line that determines accuracy.
What I like about MLB 2K8 is really when you get in a groove and you start to learn the pitches, it feels really natural and it works well. The problem is it doesn't always register your movements properly, so you might need to throw a slider and it throws a curveball, or worse, it's a meatball.
The penalty for a meatball is extremely severe. I mean, almost every single time you goof the pitch up a little bit, they're going to be able to take it out a yard.
Yeah, so speaking of taking a yard, it's time to talk about batting. Once again, MLB is sort of continuing their theme with changing things up. Aaron, how does batting work in MLB 2K8?
MLB 2K8 is actually similar to last year, which uses the right analog stick. You pull down just before the pitcher releases the ball, and that starts your swing, and then you push forward to actually make the swing.
Shankar, over on MLB 08, you've got a few small changes, like the guess the pitch is a little bit different. What can you tell us about MLB 08's batting?
Hitting in MLB 08 works similarly to how it's worked in the past. Basically, it's button hitting. You'll do a quick click in order to do a check swing, or you'll click all the way through in order to just swing through. The guess pitch feature has evolved a little bit. You'll try to guess both the pitch location and the pitch type prior to the pitcher throwing the pitch. And if you're right, it's going to light up, so you'll have an advantage when you're actually hitting.
I like MLB 08, but it's kind of for a reason you might not think of right at first, and that's because the pitch speed seemed just right. Okay. I feel like MLB 2K, the pitches are right on you, and you can't tell if it's a ball or a strike.
MLB 08, they've also got like the umpires that change throughout the game and have their own tendencies, right? Does that make a big difference in the game?
It really does, and it's cool because it's not just screwing you. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you'll have laid off a pitch that was clearly a strike, and he calls it a ball, and you're like, thanks, man. And the announcers point it out, which is cool.
Oh, and I have no idea. How's that not strike three?
So you know what's going on and recognize that, this guy's got a tight strike zone, or he's just expanded it.
And we heard plenty of opportunities where Shanker was getting screwed by the umps.
Yeah, allegedly.
Well,
Yeah, couldn't have been his lack of skill.
All right, so we've talked about batting and pitching. Now let's talk about in the field. I know, Aaron, you liked both the fielding in both games. So tell me about MLB 08 this time.
MLB 08, it kind of shined. It was, again, like with its pitching and its hitting, it was more traditional, button-based. But what it does, it just did everything right. Everything was smooth. The animations were awesome.
And from a purely mechanical standpoint, MLB 2K8, they've moved everything to the right stick. So you're even fielding with the right stick now, right, Shanker?
Yeah, so fielding in 2K works entirely based on the right analog stick. Essentially, you want to try to match the cardinal direction of the plate you're trying to throw to as close as possible. When you push over there, you're going to push and hold, and while you're doing that, a meter is going to light up. So there's definitely an element of skill in fielding this year.
So if you had to pick one game, which one has the better fielding, Aaron?
That's tough. I mean, MLB is definitely the best, but I do like the fact that using the right analog stick in 2K8 will make routine throws, make you pay attention a little more, really think, all right, let me take a little something off this, make sure I get it to the base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the system. It at least adds some element of skill to the throwing. Otherwise, it's so generic where it's just you single button clicks, throws to first base, and it's a routine play. Here, at least, there's some element of excitement to fielding.
And they did do the cutoff man really well.
Okay.
So you'd actually utilize him out of the outfield, just quick press of the button and cut it off, try to get your guy kind of napping going into the base. Something I never used before, but for some reason worked well and was effective this year.
Yeah, well, the one thing that had me cussing in MLB 08 was the base running. I could steal okay, but every time I let off the bag too much, I was thrown out more often than not at first base. Aaron, did you have the same kind of problems in MLB 08? Look at that.
This is me learning base running. It's better once you get to learn it, but it still takes too long, and RBI did it just fine back in the day with 2 buttons. I don't know what the problem is.
So now that we've talked about the game controls, let's talk about the game modes in the game. Now, of course, both these baseball games have a lot of things to do in them, but there's some special things that you want to concentrate for each of the games. I think with MLB 08, Aaron, you want to start with Road to the Show.
Yeah, Road to the Show is back this year, and it's similar to last year's. You create a player, you pick a position, you go to a team, and you try to guide your player from spring training. You probably get sent down, so from the minors, eventually to the Hall of Fame.
So other MLB 08 game modes that we need to be aware of? Obviously a franchise mode, right?
It's got a really deep franchise mode. The one thing I didn't like about it is you're locked into a 162-game season. And if you're not the person that likes to sim, you like to play the games, it's just going to take you forever.
It's hard to knock the game because, to be honest, it's realistic. I mean, 162 games is the actual length of a baseball season, but that's the problem, is it's just way too long. And so what happens is you want your statistics to be realistic so you can compare them to actual teams in the past. But who has the time to put in 162 games?
MLB 2K, to me, the standout feature this year was the card feature. Now, I don't know, we've seen baseball card features in games before, but it never done quite like this. Shanker, tell me about the card feature in MLB 2K.
Okay, so basically you earn these cards through achievements in game. It has, I think, a list of around 400 players, and each one has a different achievement in order to unlock them. So it could be as simple as getting 2 base hits in a game or knocking 3 home runs in a game.
It's a really interesting feature, but you can't really take full advantage of it until you put 20 hours into the game or something. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason that is they were initially going to release, I believe, like a list of 100 Hall of Fame players that you'd also be able to unlock through the usage of anybody. So if you ever got like back-to-back home runs or something like that, it would unlock a player. If you ever got 20 saves in a row, it would unlock Eckersley or something like that. But I guess those weren't in launch. So as a result, what happened is the cards are not easy to earn. Mm-hmm. Every card you almost have to make a conscious effort in order to do the achievement.
Plus, it's weird how you're earning cards. Sometimes, like when you're playing a season, for instance, you're only earning cards that are members of your team. So if you're playing with the Cubs, you're only unlocking Cubs players. Or you can also buy them with packs. But the credit thing that you use to buy packs is weird, right, Aaron?
Yeah, you only get credits by selling cards.
Yeah.
And a pack is 500 credits. And the cards usually like 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 credits. So you really got to put in a lot of time just to earn the cards to sell for credits.
The card deal in MLB 2K is a good feature. We hope it comes back next year, but it's going to need some changes. Any other notable features in MLB 2K? I know, Aaron, you said you like the player search function.
Yeah, it seems like a real silly thing, but the player search that's in the franchise mode makes it really easy to not only manage your players, but to find other players on other teams. And you can find exactly what you want by just inputting a first name, a last name, height, skill level, position, left or right-handed, or any combination of heck, even more of those things, and it makes it really easy to find players to fill out your team.
So a lot of these things we like, but there are some aspects of both these baseball games that we definitely don't like. There's some bugs in these games, guys. Tell me about. Let's start with MLB 2K. It's full of them.
Yeah, 2K is the big culprit here, and it's really frustrating because the series has been around for a while, and every year you're hoping they're going to get cleaned up. The biggest thing is the frame rate, which isn't really a bug. It's got other problems too, like in the franchise mode, sending any Padres starting pitcher up or down in the minor leagues instantly makes them a reliever. I had some crazy-looking stats in my minor league players, and if you look at your rotation at the wrong time, it'll actually reset the rotation. This little stuff that it should be addressed by now.
Yeah, and it doesn't just stop with some of those franchise things. It's a lack of collision detection in MLB 2K. These things really hurt because they have a huge impact on the gameplay. When it's a non-force play and you're sliding in a third, and all the guy is doing is he just touched the ball with his mitt, and that was enough to call you out. It's incredibly frustrating. So some of those things I'm surprised they're not getting caught earlier.
Yeah, we're picking on MLB 2K here, but MLB 08 has its own fair share. I know when I was playing as a shortstop in Road to the Show mode, I never once was able to get a guy thrown out at second base. It just never happened.
Yeah, I had a little more success. I was probably, maybe they only stole on me 90% of the time.
Right.
But yeah, like there's that. I think in 130 games I had 5 fly balls hit to me.
Wow.
And 1 line drive. Everything else was a ground ball.
As a second baseman,
As
right?
a second baseman,
Yeah.
And then there's some issues with inside the park home runs with the fielders just not knowing what to do.
Yeah, I would say that they're few and far between. It might happen every couple games, and part of the reason is you don't play that many plays in MLB 08 Road to the Show just because it's skipping through a large chunk. So that may be one reason you don't run into them every single game. But it seemed a lot better, a lot more polished than 2K8.
All right, so that's a look at the gameplay. Now, one of the things that both these games do pretty well is graphics. These are some good-looking games. We've got good-looking players in this game. We've got good-looking stadiums. Aaron, tell me about the graphics in both these games.
MLB 08 is a great-looking game, and it's because it does the little things right. I mean, the player models look really good, and the faces are dead on. But it's the little things you notice the further and further you get into the game. Like if you put the controller down while you're pitching, the players will start talking to each other and playing rock, paper, scissors in the dugout and stretching. If you look at a replay, like I was at Dodger Stadium and kind of looked around, and you notice on the side of the stadium they put the giant player banner. They went to the trouble that only someone's doing a replay is going to see that, but it's there. And it's just kind of indicative of the little things, the animations, and it just gets them right, and you really appreciate them even 20 hours into the game.
Shankar, the signature style thing is a big part of MLB 2K8. How'd that work for you this year?
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. They did a good job of capturing everybody's signature thing, from Dice K's bounce back move when he's doing his wind up. I think they really did a good job of capturing that, and it looks like the real player.
Both games look pretty good, but one thing is for sure, both these games sound really good, especially MLB 08, right, Aaron?
Yeah, I've actually kind of swapped camps on this one. I used to really like John Miller and Joe Morgan, but now I'm with MLB 08 and Matt Vasgersian, Rex Hudler, and Dave Campbell.
And a curveball drops in there for strike 1.
Good showing for this guy yesterday. 3 knocks in that ball game.
Like the graphics, they don't blow you away at first, but as you get further and further in the game, you notice the little things, how they'll recall in the 9th inning what you did in the 1st inning, how they'll immediately point out if Vasgersian says, he took that one, wow, that was a strike just on the corner, and Hudler will jump on and say, I don't know how you can lay off a pitch that close. And they don't miss a beat, and even that far into the game, they're coming up with new stuff, and they're just accurate and good.
And I like John Miller and Joe Morgan. They're good, but did they take a step backwards this year, Shankar?
Well, I just don't think that they have the same kind of synergy as in MLB 08. There's no back and forth. Essentially, it's a straight call. It almost sounds like we're listening to Joe Montana sports talk.
But it's a bit high, and the left fielder moves to his left, and he puts it away.
And Joe, we've got a very solid group of umpires working the game today.
It's just so generic, and while it does do a good job, I think, in telling you exactly what happened, it doesn't really elaborate. It doesn't make you feel like you're actually at a baseball game.
So the final piece of the puzzle for this year's baseball games is online play. Now, when you're talking about the pitcher-batter duel, nothing counts more than a lag-free game. Do we have any lag in these games, Aaron?
That's about all we have, especially in MLB 2K8. It's got a ton of options. You can play the season and you can do all this stuff, but it just doesn't matter because it's unplayable. All that matters is can I time my swing to hit the ball? And the answer is no.
In all fairness, though, it's not the only game that deals with online issues. I know in NBA 2K8, for instance, your shooting animation and your shooting timing is slightly different when you're playing offline than when you're playing
you can
online.
adjust, and it's consistent. Like, you're like, all right, it's going to be a quarter of a second different. Here, you just never know from pitch to pitch. It's early, the ball's disappearing.
Well, but
sometimes the guy doesn't even swing, and you just see a ground ball go away.
No, but I think it's the same thing. That quarter of a second is how long it takes for the ball to get to you. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's that consistent. It seems like things jump around.
It's, why do a tournament if you're going to lose in the finals because some guy you threw a ball into the ground because your pitching meter jumped all the way to the end?
Yeah. So that's our take on this year's baseball games. Right now, we want to take you to a special segment where I went to Scottsdale, Arizona to interview a whole bunch of Major League Baseball players for the 2K Sports Video Game Challenge. To get their thoughts on baseball games in 2008, take a look. Hey everyone, welcome to beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. We're here for the 3rd annual 2K Sports Video Game Challenge. Right behind me is the Scottsdale Plaza Resort. Well, right behind me is a big bus with Major League Baseball 2K8. But right behind that is the Scottsdale Plaza Resort where 30, 40, 50 real-life MLB players will be inside playing the Wii version of MLB 2K8. They're going to have a home run derby of sorts. Let these guys bat it out and see who is the reigning Wii champion of MLB 2K8. We're going to go in there and talk to as many of those guys as we can cram into an hour and a half. And so let's go in there and check it out, talk to those guys, see what's going on.
Welcome once again to the 2K Sports Home Run Derby. Let me hear you.
I'm joined now by Jack Tashner with the San Francisco Giants. Jack, you got to tell me how you did tonight so far. First round, though, right?
I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I'm not much of a hitter. I pitch, obviously, and I put 7 out, which is more than I'd really do in real life.
So they're doing two things. They're doing the most home runs and then the longest, and you hit 591.
Trust me, that's not how I really swing it.
I'm here with Mike Morath. We're talking about the 2K Sports Video Game Challenge. Mike, have you participated yet?
Yes, I did.
How'd you do?
Didn't fare well.
Tell us how many home runs you got. I know you got, what, like 10?
1.
Joined by Bob Howard with the Chicago Cubs. Bob, are you in the second round or the first round in this competition? You seem like you're doing all right.
Yeah, we squeaked through with 9 in the first round, advanced to round number 2.
So how many did you get in the second? Or have you haven't gone up to bat yet?
No, the first round I had 9.
Okay.
It was quite a letdown from the 24 in the qualifying round.
Really? 24? What happened? What happened to your swing?
I got tired.
Todd Helton wins this year's Major League Baseball 2K Home Run Derby. This year's Home Run Derby winner.
So there you have it. Todd Helton proves that he's good in video games at doing what he does in real life, and that is hit home runs. He wins the 3rd annual 2K Sports Video Game Challenge in commanding fashion. I think he hit like 90 billion home runs in that final round. So congratulations to him. Thanks for 2K Sports for having us out. Back to you guys in the studio. We've talked about what's wrong and what's right with these video games, these baseball video games, but what do these series need to do next year to improve? Aaron, we'll start with you.
Well, apparently there's no QA testers to tell anybody this, so fix the bugs in the 2K8 game, or 2K9.
Yeah.
Fix them. There's no excuse for them.
And Shanker, you like the Road to the Show mode, but you think they can build on it, right?
Yeah, I think it has a lot of opportunities. I'd like to see the Road to the Show be taken online, where everybody's essentially controlling one player. You can play leagues. You can even have like a free agency of 400 different online players, all trying to get into the same positions and fighting for positions.
Bottom line, if we had to pick a baseball game, video game this year, which one would you want, Aaron?
Clear winner, MLB 08, the show.
Okay, Shanker?
I wish I can disagree with Aaron. I really do, but no, this one's a no-brainer. MLB 08, the show, is by far the better game.
As for me, if I can't be playing MLB Power Pros, I'm going to be playing MLB 08 as well. It's a clean sweep for Sony's MLB game as the best baseball game of 2008. Now, enough baseball. It's time to punch Michael Vick in the face. Thanks for that, Aaron. Now we're going to move on to a preview of NBA Ballers Chosen One right now.
NBA Ballers Chosen One marks the return of Midway's arcade basketball series and the debut of Ballers on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. For Chosen One, the developers at Midway are aiming to create a basketball game that's one part street hoops and one part fighting game.
Everybody put your hands.
No, you won't see Manu Ginobili wielding his elbows as weapons like he does in the real NBA, but things still manage to get physical on the court. On defense, you'll be able to push and even pull guys off the ball. And on offense, your arsenal of moves has been amped up to great effect. From the active fool combos that will have your opponent looking even more confused than the entire starting five of the Miami Heat, to special super moves that will shut them down completely. You'll have plenty of ways to play in Ballers. 2 versus 2, 1 versus 1, and even 1 versus 1 versus 1.
Nice shot.
The centerpiece of Ballers will be the story mode, which will let you live the NBA life without the day-to-day grind of constant travel and gold-digging baby mamas. Using the game's in-depth customization tools, you create an up-and-coming hoopster from the ground up and then pit him against some of the NBA's best in a story that has you rising through the ranks and taking on the biggest names in the league. Think you've got what it takes to match up to Kobe, King James, and Agent Zero? You'll find out when NBA Ballers Chosen One is released later this month.
So that's a look at NBA Ballers Chosen One. Right now, we're going to take a look at Aaron. You got to go out to a NASCAR event recently.
Yes, sir, I did. I got to head to Vegas.
And you also got to take a look at NASCAR 09, and we're going to take a look at the results of that trip right now.
Hi, this is Aaron Thomas with GameSpot.com here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, not only to check out the Sprint Cup race this weekend, but to talk to Scott Stutzman, senior producer with Electronic Arts, about NASCAR 09. You guys announced that Jeff Gordon will be gracing the cover of the game this year. How are you guys integrating him into the game? He's not just a pretty face, right?
Absolutely not. We're pretty excited this year with NASCAR 09 and having Jeff involved with the game. This year we're utilizing Jeff Gordon as kind of your guide and your mentor. I mean, Jeff's a 4-time champion in the Cup Series. He's also the car owner of Jimmy Johnson, who's won the last 2 Cup Series championships. So this time we're bringing NASCAR to those users and allowing Jeff to do the same things with Jimmy and make you his next protege.
Let's get started.
Now, the big gameplay feature this year is your reputation. Now, how does that affect what happens on the track? How do you improve your reputation? Or I guess if you want to make it worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Jeff being involved into this, Jeff has a phenomenal reputation out there on the track and as a personality outside the track. So the goal here is he's guiding you through into building your reputation, and your reputation will turn around and get you better sponsors, more prestige when you're racing on the track. You'll be recognized as, a skilled driver or not so skilled driver, and the AI will behave differently based on your reputation score out on the track. Last year, I think we really hit home with the simulation model, and we need to make sure that we're encompassing the whole group of people that love racing games. So that's one of the things that I think that we focused on this year, is to make it more accessible. So the handling model will be much more forgiving and allow them that accessibility and to enjoy that NASCAR racing experience.
The game is NASCAR 09. What's it coming out for, and how long do we have to wait?
NASCAR 09 is coming out on June 10th. We're shipping on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360.
We'll go watch a race?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
So there's your look at Aaron's trip to the left turn circuit in Las Vegas. Aaron, you played this game. What do you think?
I did. I played an early build. What I found interesting was the developer sounds like they're really focused on listening to feedback from the fans, and that's hopefully will come across in the driving, which is going to be a little more forgiving. It'll allow you to race in the pack, and if you do happen to bump somebody, instead of it spinning you out, sending you into the infield or a wall, it'll slow you down a little bit, but you can correct it and keep going. So they're also going to add some driver personalities in there in video form and kind of play off the sport's strengths.
They got to get 43 cars online before I'm going to play it.
That's not going to happen this year.
It's not going to happen this generation, I think. But anyway, there's your look at NASCAR 09. Right now, we're going to take a look at an interview with Darren McFadden, who is a former Arkansas running back, sure to be high pick in the NFL draft, and cover boy for the Xbox 360 version of NCAA Football 09. Check it out.
It's a great thrill to me. Growing up, you always imagine yourself being on a video game, and then you being on the cover of one is something you may not have think of growing up, but being on the cover is just a great honor for me. I feel like it's a great game. I love playing the NCAA football. You can have an impact player on there when he get in the zone. He's going and he's hard to stop and things like that. And then the crowds are always into the game. And it's something that's very unique to the game. Yes, sir. I may have switched teams one time. I don't think that affected anything. I feel like being on the cover of a video game is just being on the cover of a video game. I feel like your on-field play is something that speaks for itself. I feel like it's something that that's the way that coaches can rate players coming in, because they can always look at players from the previous years and go back off of what they did in the combine and rate the upcoming player that are in the combine now. Whoever drafts me, I'm just going there and playing ball. It's not just one certain team in particular that I want to go to. Just wherever I go, I'm going to go and play ball. I can't just think of one person off the top of my head, but the only person I can consider myself running like right now is Adrian Peterson, because he came in as a rookie and did great things in the NFL, and I feel like that's something that I want to do coming in this year. That's something, people give me a lot of different nicknames, I think that one stemmed from my tattoo that I have on my arms. It's a 501 tattoo, which represents my area code where I'm from.
So there's your look at Darren McFadden. I will say he is an incredibly polite guy. He must have called me sir in that interview like 15 times. Made me feel really old. There's your look at the Darren McFadden interview. Right now we're almost wrapped up, but we're going to want to give you guys a sneak peek at what we're working on for the next show. Aaron Thomas, what are you working on for the next episode of The Lineup?
I've got a really in-depth feature about how big head mode is the key feature in all sports games.
It's the future.
It's the future, it's the past, it's the most important thing.
Okay, Shanker, you must be working on something Kobe Bryant related.
No, surprisingly, I'm doing the top 10 insults that we can no longer use because Eli Manning won a Super Bowl.
Oh,
it's ruined it for the entire comedy environment.
Narrow it down to 10.
Yeah, I know.
As for me, in the next episode of The Lineup, I will be exclusively revealing the top 10 long snappers in the NFL that will be appearing on a future edition of the Madden series. I'm thinking Ethan Albright is a front runner. What do you think, guys?
He's got a good shot.
He's got a good shot. He's got red hair.
I'd argue if I could name another.
I can't either. That's why I've got to do more research.
Looking forward to next one. We'll find out what they are.
Yeah, so that is the first edition of The Lineup. Thanks, guys, for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't believe we pulled it out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
In a relatively professional manner.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. And we punched Michael Vick, so that's good. So, that's the first edition. We'll see you next time. Before we let you go, we're going to send you off with a segment we like to call the Extra Point. It's 5 questions with a very, very, very famous athlete. In the first edition, we've got Kansas City Royals pitcher Brett Tomko.
Your all-time favorite athlete and why?
All-time favorite athlete and why? That's a great question. I got to go Magic Johnson. I grew up a Laker fan, and in the early 90s, early or late 80s, that was a time when I was really into basketball, and I'm a big Magic Johnson fan.
The hardest part about your sport?
In between pitching, sitting for 4 days if you have a bad game and having to think about it, waiting for your next chance to get out there.
So is it the mental thing, or is it purely physical, or both? Or?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the mental part of it. Just you got a lot of downtime to think about things if they're not going good. So it's pretty difficult sometimes.
All right, complete this sentence. If I wasn't Brett Tomko, I'd be blank, and tell me what.
If I wasn't Brett Tomko, I'd probably be Tiger Woods. Because he's got a good gig going right now. Yeah. So
he's okay.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wouldn't want to be him.
All right. Your big video game player. Tell me your favorite video game and why. All time.
My favorite video game of all time is a game called GameStar Baseball for the Commodore 64.
Old school.
Very old school, and it's the most simple baseball game I think there ever was, and I love it.
Awesome. All right, final question. Tell us one thing nobody knows about you.
That no one knows about me? I'm a sucker when it comes to my dog.
What's your dog's name?
Sandy, little 5-pound Yorkie, and she runs the house.
Want to give a shout out to Sandy?
No, that's all right.
All right, Brett, thanks so much. Appreciate your time, man. All right, cool.